Hello, my name's Vanessa. I'm one of the nurses at Cancer Relief, and I'm here today to talk about ovarian cancer and genetic mutations that can be found in families. And we're going to be talking to Tizzy and Jenny about their experience.
Hi, I'm Tizzy and I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in late December 2015.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm Tizzy's sister, and I was also diagnosed with ovarian cancer, more or less at the same time as Tizzy.
So Tizzy, tell us a little bit about the events leading up to your diagnosis.
Well, Vanessa, my mother died when I was very young, and growing up, I always had this fear that I would also develop breast cancer. Unbeknownst to me, my siblings, all my sisters, felt exactly the same, but we never discussed it. Then late in 2015, when I went to my GP with some concerns, she was very, very aware of my fears and my family history. And it was at that point that I was diagnosed soon after and referred to the Royal Marsden in early 2016.
Tizzy, are you happy to tell us a bit about your family history?
After my mother's breast cancer diagnosis, many years later when I was 20, her sister was diagnosed and died of ovarian cancer. I never ever put the two together. My fears had always been to do with breast cancer. But once I got to the Marsden, they flagged up the possibility of some genetic link, which I had never thought of. And of course, when we were younger, there was no such thing as gene sequencing. So you just didn't think about it. And it was then that I was offered the gene test. It's called the BRCA1 or the BRCA2 test. And a month later, I got the diagnosis that I did carry the BRCA1 mutation, and therefore the rest of my family could be affected.
And what effect did this have on you and the family?
The rest of the family at the time were offered to be tested for the genetic mutation, and they each took their own decisions at the time, and that gave them the knowledge to move forward as to how they would live with that knowledge. However, on a personal level, I almost felt like I'd opened up a Pandora's box, and the family Pandora's box of negativity. And it was actually a very, very difficult thing to deal with for quite a long time.
And Jenny, can you tell us a bit about your diagnosis and the impact that your sister's BRCA result had on you?
It was about the same time as Tizzy was diagnosed and undergoing treatment that I had symptoms, and I had to go to the gynae here locally, and then I was diagnosed with having cancer in the fallopian tubes. Subsequently, I was sent to Marsden, and again I had further cancer in the uterus. It was after that I was offered a BRCA test.
And how did you feel about being offered BRCA testing?
At the time, I really wasn't concerned because I said to the doctor, well, I know I've had cancer, so I must obviously be BRCA positive, because the rest of the family by then had been diagnosed as being BRCA positive.
And in the end, what was it that made you have BRCA testing?
Yes, that's really why I had the test, because I knew I was positive. Well, I reckoned I was positive, but I was advised that due to having it on record, it would save a lot of time should I need any further treatment in the future.
So you were telling us that it was a difficult time for yourself, and Jenny, we've heard your story as well. Tizzy, what about the impact on the rest of the family?
Well, all the siblings took the option to have the testing for the genetic mutation. that gave them, with counselling at the same time from the genetics team at the Marsden, the power and the knowledge to decide what to do. And they all decided to have risk-reducing surgery. In the first case, this took the form of having their ovaries removed. One sister was fine. One was discovered to have a very, very early stage of ovarian cancer. So she ended up on chemotherapy at the same time. Because of that, her daughter had also taken the option to have the test, and she was found to carry the mutation. So she took the decision to have a double mastectomy to reduce her chances of developing breast cancer, from what at the time were approximately 70%, I think, at her age group, to something like 5%. And in the workup, getting ready for the operation, she had an MRI, and they discovered a very small, very aggressive breast cancer. So she went on to chemotherapy as well. So at one point in 2016, late 2016 and 17, 4 of us were all on chemotherapy at the same time at various hospitals.
So people often think of women when it comes to BRCA gene testing. Jenny, do you have any male siblings in the family?
Yes, I have a brother, an elder brother, who tested negative to BRCA, therefore it stops there. But there is one nephew from my sisters who has tested positive, and therefore in the future, should his children wish to be tested, they have the option.
So Jenny, thank you so much for sharing. Just as a last question, what message do you want people to take from this today?
I think basically if anybody has concerns, they should consult their GP, and if they want to take it further, to do so, because it's so important that if they do have a problem, it's caught early. I mean, we have all been lucky, the 4 of us have survived, and we're strong with it. We're stronger having gone through all this. So please, if you do have any concerns, go to your GP, consult and talk about it.
And yourself, Tizzy?
I think that if you are offered genetic testing, it's very personal whether you take it or not. But what I have taken away from this experience is that knowledge is power. It can help shape what options you take with any preventative surgery you may wish to have. It can help you advise your children in terms of them also taking control of their lives, and it can also help shape the kind of treatment you'll have, because people who do carry the genetic mutation actually can go down a different route to people who don't, in terms of treatment.
And Tizzy, I'm going to give you the last word.
Yes, as well as any help and advice and support that you get from the GHA, of which there is plenty, I would like to add that the Cancer Relief Gibraltar are always there to support people in all these areas, and my experience has been absolutely amazing.
So thank you again to Tizzy and Jenny for sharing their story. And just to summarise, in Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, that having a BRCA gene does not mean that people will definitely develop cancer, and that only 15 to 20% of ovarian cancer diagnosed is actually due to having a mutated BRCA gene. So please just remember the signs and symptoms, Talk to your GP if you have any concerns. And remember that we here at Cancer Relief are here for you too.